Kuzangpo, and welcome to News Hour. We'll be talking on the 100 days pledges by the government, and this is basically an assessment made by the opposition, and a report was already published in Quincy. Based on that, to discuss on this, I have Honorable Home Minister His Excellency Damchitoji, and I have Mr. Kungat Sring, who is the Honorable Member of Parliament. Maybe since this is an assessment from the opposition, let me first come to Mr. Kungat Sring. Sir, you kept on saying that opposition is not here to criticize. You also kept on saying that you are not blaming the government. Simultaneously, you came up with a striking report which said that only 26% of the pledges have been fulfilled within 100 days. And government comes up with a figure saying that more than 74% of the pledges have been fulfilled. Who should we believe, and what is the actual message that you are trying to get across?
Yes, thank you, Dawala. First of all, I'd like to thank BBS for giving us this opportunity. The opposition leader is supposed to be here, but since he's away on tour, so that's why I'm representing the opposition party.
Yes.
We do appreciate and congratulate the government on the first 100 days in office. As far as the pledges are concerned, as you have mentioned, we are not here to criticize, but at the same time, I think we do have to lay bare some of the facts which has been, within the context of the 100-day pledges. The 74% of the government versus the 26% of the opposition party, and I think these are, concrete in most of the cases pledges which is written in black and white. These are promises made to the people by the government. And these are, in fact, like a contract. The government has made an offer to the people, and people have accepted the offer. And the consideration is that, in fact, we are getting paid, as MP and as government officials and ministers. So, therefore, we feel that from the opposition side, whatever is given in the pledges has to be met. If there are challenges, I think this is an area where the opposition will also have to help the government. But I don't think it's correct also for us to accept excuses if these are excuses which can be avoided by proper planning, by proper thought, thinking through the processes, and also by making sure that you have done your study before you make the pledges. And I think, especially in Bhutan, we would like to hold our government to a much higher standard, mainly because of the fact that no other country has the luxury that we have. We have the leadership of His Majesty the King. The wisdom is there, the overall vision is provided, so the government of day-to-day is there mainly to serve the people in terms of efficient delivery of services, and then how you carry out some of the pledges, for instance, in 100-day pledges. So as far as we are concerned, we feel that ours is a very objective assessment of the pledges. We have broken down the pledges into 42. Yes. I think there is also an argument of why the government has come with 35 and we have come with 42. And our reason is simple. There are some pledges which we have broken up. For example, the pay allowances and the salary raise we have broken up into two, because those are substantial different commitment that government has made. In fact, the opposition party has also made to the civil service people. Number two is that in some component of the government manifesto, there were pledges where the commitment is to meet them immediately. For example, the doctor shortages. If you look at page 45 of the manifesto, it mentions that. Then number three is the way we see it is, while all the pledges are very important, but the need of the hour is the economic stimulus plan, which has been touted as one of the major campaign issues by the government. Now, within the economic stimulus plan, when you look at clause 1.1 to 1.3 to 2.1, it clearly mentions that within the first 90 days, for example, that the government is going to...
Mr. Kingasir, I think I'll come back to you on this economic stimulus plan. Yes. Honorable Limbo, 42 versus 34, 74% versus 26%. Now, the opposition party has come up with an assessment, and that assessment is government has fulfilled only 26% of the pledges. Yet again, they are saying they have been very objective on assessing these pledges. Have they been objective?
At the outset, I would like to thank His Majesty the King for His Majesty's continued and wise guidance, and also the full-hearted support of the civil service in fulfilling our pledges for the first 100 days in office. The new government, had to deal with a legacy of the previous government that left the economy in shambles. We had to really work hard. Right after our term in office, we had to, grapple so many. We had to take care of so many problems that were facing the country. To the extent that sometimes I'm tempted to ask myself, what did deputy government do in the first 100 days of his coming into office? Because we were a new batch, all the cabinet ministers were new, and we had to grapple with huge problems, such as the rupee crisis, the unemployment problem, the huge public debt, so many issues. So that's why we had to come out not just with pledges, but with pledges that had to be fulfilled within a specific time frame.
Yes.
And for that, we have come out with these 34 pledges that we wanted to fulfill in these 100 days. Now, whether we have fulfilled that or not is for the people to see. But as per our assessment, we have fully fulfilled 25 of the 34 pledges. We have partially fulfilled 9 of the pledges. So, it depends upon which side of the table you are. We are all politicians, so it is not uncommon that we don't criticize, each other. So, if the opposition says that we have fulfilled only 25% of the pledges, well, we leave it to the people to judge. And we appreciate the fact that the opposition has come out with their own assessment. It's good that they are doing their job. They have a duty under the Constitution to ensure that the ruling party works for the interests of the people in the country, and that the ruling party works in accordance with the Constitution and our laws. So if they are doing a job, we appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Well, the number games, we'll leave it to the people to decide,
Yes.
as Lembo mentioned. Honorable Kingasiri, the present government, the PDP government, has been made to face, or rather inherit the legacy that was left by the previous government. That's the government, deputy government, which is now in the opposition. Economy was left in shambles by the deputy government. Your reaction to this?
Plus, again, I think here we probably need to look at the numbers. If you consider the elevation of people at the poverty level by 10 to 13% over 5 years, if that is economic in shambles, then I have no argument against that. If you're looking at the increase in the per capita income of people from 85,000 to over 135,000 a year, and that's in shambles, then again I think I can't argue against that. And if you're looking at a lot of the initiatives in the economic sector, a lot of the development works which have been initiated, the hydropower projects, I think these are also some of the long-term projects which within the next 5 to 6 years the results will be visible. So therefore I think this is again, as far as the opposition is concerned, also we will leave it up to the people to judge. But we do acknowledge that at hand there is a problem with the rupee issue. There is a problem with the fact that even regionally and globally the economies are slowing down. Our economy is integrated and in some ways tied to our biggest trading partner, India, and the growth rate, economic growth rate of India has also come down to 5%. And I think we are also going through the same problem where our economic growth rate has come down. But at the same time, I think we as a government, we do need to have a plan, a contingency plan on how to carry it forward. And I think that is, as far as the opposition is concerned, we did have a plan, the economic action plan on what can be done within the first 90 days. I'm not an authority and I'm not too sure whether I can comment on what we could have done 5 years ago, 90 days prior to that. But definitely we do have a plan if we are given the chance what to do within the first 90 days this time around. But for the matter, I think, the government is well aware on the priorities which has been set. So as far as we are concerned, again, we would like to come back to the pledges. We hope that this is very objective. We are not here to criticize. We have been pointing out 11 of the 42 fulfill, and we have also given the reasons on why we feel that some of those are not merited to be considered as fulfilled, because these are pre-existing, some of them are pre-existing conditions, and on the other hand, there are the partially fulfilled pledges which again, we cannot, either they are fulfilled or not fulfilled. They are fulfilled within 100 days or they are not fulfilled within the 100 days. And we do agree that beyond 100 days, things will move on. Again, we are not here to say that everything has to be done within the 100 days. We are here to provide whatever support there is possible from the opposition side in terms of deliberation, in terms of ideas, and mainly also to express the aspirations and desire of the people as expected of the opposition party.
Plus, Honorable Lembo, now rupee issue. As you already mentioned, this problem has started from the previous government's time itself, and you have literally inherited this problem, is what you have said, and that people know very well. But after you have assumed office, what has your government done on this rupee issue to solve this problem? It is going to be a gargantuan task for the government to solve this issue. But what are some of the steps, major steps taken by the government to solve this issue, solve this problem?
We all know that the rupee crisis will be there for a long time. And we said that we will try our best to solve it as fast as possible. We did not guarantee that we will solve it within any specific short period of time. The rupee problem was created because we were I include myself because I was also in the opposition and I was also part of the parliament. We were complacent. I mean, we never faced it before. So the government then, did not really bother to see how much rupee was coming in and how much was going out. If only we had the common sense to see how much was coming in, how much was going out, then we could have easily avoided this rupee crisis. But now these are all, hindsight. The government, after coming into power, we have come out with a lot of strategies. First is the fiscal and the monetary strategy. We are all working on that. I'm not saying that we have already fulfilled these solutions, but we are coming out with monetary measures. That is, through the economic stimulus plan, we are going to pump money into the financial market. We are coming out with fiscal measures. We are reviewing the taxes, which will be tabled before the next, the parliament in the July session. Yes. We are also coming out with long-term policies such as import substitution. We are importing, for instance, in 2010, I think 2009 we imported almost 14 billion worth of commodities, especially essential goods from India. In 2010, that expenditure went up to 29 billion, slightly more than 29 billion. So unless we, take a combination of a lot of measures, like monetary measures, fiscal measures, and also policy measures, whereby we go for import substitution. We try to cut fuel consumption, for example, by going for electronic cars, So all these measures have to be taken, and it will take time. It's not going to be done overnight. Yes. And this rupee crisis, as I said, will be there for quite some time.
Yes, Your Excellency, as a follow-up to whatever you said, one of the means or one of the ways to solve this rupee problem, rupee crisis, was during the campaigns, candidates kept on talking about opening the lottery business again. Mm-hmm. Are you working towards that?
Yes. The Finance Ministry has already been entrusted with this job of restarting the lottery business. The Finance Ministry is in contact with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, which is working out ways and means to restart this business. The previous government had totally closed the office of the lottery, and therefore we have to start everything from scratch, including setting up a separate office for that. So it's going to take time, but we are definitely working towards it. We are not only thinking of opening the lottery business, but we are also thinking of starting even contemplating even online lottery also. So it is definitely on the table, yes. But it's going to take some time, and all we need to do is to consistently work towards it so that it is achieved within the minimum possible time.
Yes. Opposition party, Honorable Kingasing, yes. You kept on saying that you are here to support the initiatives taken by the government. Yes. Now, in this regard, would you support it? Because gambling, the government then considered it to be
right.
Lottery. The government then considered it to be gambling.
Right.
So the government closed it. Will you support
yes.
again?
Well, I think for any policy is based on certain values, and I think as far as the opposition party is concerned, it's based on the principle and values of GNS Seshunui. And I think in that matter, for that matter, even the present government, we have seen in the manifesto that whatever initiative and project they start, it has to be first screened through the GNH screen law. So therefore, I hope that the lottery business and whatever activities that entails and goes along with gambling and speculation, I hope it does pass through the lens of the GNH screen session way. If it does, then I think, and if it has the potential of bringing in huge amount of money, at some point is estimated at about 9 to 10 billion, and it's good for us, and I think we'll be fully behind and supporting the initiative session way. But let us see if it goes through the screen of GNH tests, and I think on some of the logistics like the offices being closed and so on. And again, I think this is something where homework has to be done. I think these offices has been closed for quite some time, and I think the agencies responsible could be given the direction to carry out the proper homework. Because again, in the manifesto and in the pledges, it's clearly mentioned that within the first 100 days that a negotiation will start and initiatives will be taken to start the lottery business at Duwala. So similarly, I think even on the rupee issue and whatever, even though I think blame can be passed back and forth and past and present, but I think for whatever reason, it is the responsibility of the current government to show a path, to show a direction. And I think our position has again been that we are not going to nitpick on so many small things, and the pledges are there, 42 or for that matter, even if it's 35. It really doesn't matter, Sela. The main thing is I think there is a clear pledges given in black and white, and I think as responsible opposition party, we need to look at the long-term interests of the nation and the people. Yes. So for that, we feel that 3 months is a long enough time for any government to come up with a solid plan, whether it is economic plan, whether it's rupee shortage plan, whether it is contingency plan on how to jumpstart the economy if it is perceived to be so, or what is import substitution plan that the government has. So I think we would rather focus on some of these big blueprint plan for the nation for the next 5 years. So therefore, as a government, if that comes on table, then that is something where we can have real deliberation of how to take the country forward, and we will be fully behind the government in supporting those plans.
Yes. Honorable Limbo, 3 months is too long a duration for any government to come up with some solid plans, is what the opposition is saying. Any solid plans?
Yeah, I really don't understand what you mean by solid plan, because we came up with the 11 5-year plan, so I think that is a solid plan. Yes, we worked on that right from day one, and we'll table it before the parliament, and the parliament passed it. So I don't see any greater plan than that. Plus, we also came out with the economic stimulus plan. And as I told you, we have a special task force which is working on the economic stimulus plan. But because we haven't received the money yet, we cannot start it immediately. But as and when the money comes in, when the funds flow in, then we are ready to start.
Any time frame on the money that we are going to receive?
Well, this is something beyond our power and control. But suffice it to say here that we have been in constant dialogue with the India embassy here. We have been in constant dialogue with the India government. So, everything is going through the normal procedure. I mean, For any government, we don't receive all the grants and project assistance in a lump sum. It comes in a phased manner. It comes according to the DPR, Detailed Project Report, and it comes through a proper channel, that exists between these our two countries. So, I mean, this is not something new that has happened. It has been going on for the last so many years.
Well, so, Honorable Kyungka Sering, now reading out on the assessment that you have given on ESP, Economic Stimulus Plan, anything that takes longer and any amount below the initial commitment of 5 billion is too little and too late. Elaborate on this.
Well, that's correct.
There's no money. What can we do?
The reason that we came out with that assessment was that actually to stimulate the economy, the 11 5-year plan is a stimulus plan in a lot of ways, because once you start pumping the money into the economy through the infrastructure development, through all the activities that the government is initiating, that will feed money into the system. But the ESP has been specially designed before the 11 5-year plan can kick off. So therefore, if we do not have the money to jumpstart the economy or to take care of the current urgent issues, then it's going to be too little too late, because this is the need of the hour. After the 5-year plan, the budget starts coming in, and once all the tenders starts going out and things starts moving on, then the economy is already in motion. So therefore, this is one of the reasons why we have mentioned that, yes, there may be externalities, there may be factors beyond our control, but that's part of the whole planning process. I think the whole planning means is not just tabling the 11 5-year plan. We need to take care of the contingencies. What about if the resources are not there? What about what are the alternatives that we have? What is the fallback plan? So therefore, if the ESP is very urgent and it has to be immediately implemented, then we better have a fallback plan session. But just by depending on saying that the money will not be released and money is going to come in tranches, yes, that may be a reality, but I think it may require more effort on our part to request Government of India and the funding agencies and financing agencies to tell them that probably this is an urgent area where we need the money, Sela.
I'm sure you must be doing this, Honorable Limbo.
Yes, but at the same time, we must remember that the 10th 5-year plan activities were not completed. So much so that we have so many pending payments to be made to the contractors, almost to the tune of 3.7 billion. So we did look for money in the open market from our financial institutes. We borrowed about 2.9 billion, but that alone had to be spent for paying off the contractors who had done work during the 10th plan. So a lot more still needs to be paid off. Even that is stimulating the economy, because we are paying these contractors. We are paying for the jobs they have done. So any money that we spend, should be considered as stimulating the economy.
So I won't ask any other follow-up questions on this, because there are so many issues that we need to talk about. Employment, youth employment. Limbo, full employment, 100% employment. Clear the doubts. Which one you have actually promised?
We have promised full employment. There's a difference between full employment and 100% employment. And full employment means that we have, absorbing capacity of 2.5%. So, I mean, this is something we have to take on. Whether we can do it or not, we have to give it a try, because unemployment, especially unemployment of our educated youth, is a problem. We all admit that, but nobody is doing anything. If we have done anything, that is not sufficient. So we have to take it headlong. If we have made a pledge that will give full employment, it is a genuine intention on our part to ensure that we give them full employment. And don't judge us now, judge us at the end of the 5th year, because it's not going to be done overnight. It has not been done in the past so many years. But what is good about it is that this new government is giving a special attention, is giving special and focused efforts to solve this issue. Because if we don't solve this issue at this stage, unemployment is never going to be resolved. This is a very critical stage, and it's going to be a big challenge. And we have come out with a lot of measures to ensure that our youth especially get full employment.
Yes.
And we mean it. We'll give our fullest effort. And if in spite of that we cannot get rid of unemployment, well, we will be glad that we tried our best.
Yes.
We will be glad that we had the political will and that we put all our effort in it.
Yes, sir. Honorable Kinga Singh,
Less.
you mentioned 100% employment. Government never said 100%, they said full
Less.
employment. And also
Less.
it will be too early to judge the government on this particular issue.
Less. On a lighter note, I was mentioning that since the government has a plan of providing actually subsidy and youth unemployment benefit, so probably once we start handing that out, then you may find out the real numbers. But anyway, I think the real issue here is in terms of, again, the pledges and the commitment, it could be full employment or 100% employment. But from where we got the 100% employment figure was from an announcement that was made on a youth meeting session in Vela. I think this was sometime in June. And in fact, Kunsel has reported it, and probably the media has also reported it. And the Honorable Prime Minister now has committed that 100% youth employment will be provided. And again, I think our issue here is not to point out and say this has to be done in 100 days, there is 5 years and for the government to work on this. And again, we will be supportive of whatever plan that comes through. It is a big task. But the point is, again, there are certain activities which is to be carried out within the 100 days as per the pledge and the manifesto session way. And on that, the employment policy and whatever, again, the underlying plan, and that's why I keep coming back to the blueprint, because as far as the blueprint is concerned, I think, yes, 11.5 plan is the basic document on which we can work on. But beyond that, there has to be an overall strategy from the government side on how to implement the 11.5-year plan, on how to implement the ESP, so that all the rest of the activities and underlying the pledges could fit in Seshunvela. Because unless that solid plan is not there, then I think, taking it on ad hoc basis, I'm not really sure whether, we are really meeting the objective or not.
Yes, sir. One issue that I would need to pick up, and if I don't, civil servants will not spare me on this, is this salary revision or salary hike of the civil servants and 20% house rents. Working towards it. Pay commission is instituted, but the problem again is, as I asked in Zonka session, where is the money going to come from? Are we going to have enough money? Especially with all these austerity measures put in place. People are becoming skeptical. Some are becoming skeptical, and their view is that, will we have enough money looking at the austerity measures?
First, we must realize that pay salary revision for civil servants are overdue. Secondly, we must admit the fact that housing and accommodation has become a problem, has been a problem for the civil servants, especially for the last so many years. And therefore, PDP during its campaign had realized these problems, had pledged to solve these problems, and therefore is in our pledge, the 34 pledges that we have made for the first 100 days. It's going to be a challenge. But do we leave at it at that, thinking there is challenge that not facing the problem? So we must do something. The government has to do something, and therefore we have instituted the pay commission. We have given full authority to the pay commission to see how much increase we can make, whether it's in terms of salary revision or in terms of house rent allowance. So ultimately, somebody has to do it, and the government has to do it.
Yes. Honorable Kinga Singh, you have divided this pledges into two.
Yes, in fact, one of the reasons why the pledges number has gone up is, as I said, this has been clubbed together, the salary increase as well as the 20% housing allowance. And we feel that these are both substantial pledges on its own. So therefore, we have segregated it session way. And on this, I think one of the concerns was that I do agree that there are procedural requirements which the government as well as opposition and the whole public is aware of. First of all, the pay commission has to be established. And I think the concern was that I mean, again, somewhere in the manifesto on page 25, I think it was mentioned that within the first week of forming the government, the pay commission will be called upon. So I think if that was done, then at least the 3 months is gone by now. So the pay commission would have a report to submit to the government and the parliament. And I think it would be up to the pay commission to use their wisdom, to use the analytical skills, to find out whether we can really afford the salary raise as well as the housing allowance. As far as I'm concerned, the way I see it is this has been a strong pledge that has been made by both the parties, the government as well as the opposition. And to me, I think by 2014, when the Dungsang Cement comes online, we are going to get about 3.5 billion per annum. Dagachu project will fetch another 1 billion. Punazangchu after 2017 will fetch some 20 to 30 billion. So we feel that we have to be optimistic in some ways on how to do the projection. But I may be wrong again. And that's the reason why constitutionally there is a requirement for pay commission. And I think again, going back to the pledges, if the pay commission has been formed back on the first week of the government taking the charge of the office, and I think the report would have been ready by now. And I think that is one of the reasons why a lot of people are concerned that the commission report is still not up and the pay commission has just been formed. And of course, by the way, we did give the government full marks on that, because even though it was committed on the first week, but the fact that the pay commission has been established and approved during the last week, we did give them full marks.
Yes, sir. Honorable Limbo, one is on the extension of maternity leave for working mothers. Any developments on this?
Yes. First, I must remind you that maternity leave is covered by the Civil Service Rules and Regulations and also the Civil Service Act. Now, this is something which has to be go through the parliamentary procedure. To change the rules and regulations, the government cannot on its own do it. It has to be done by the RCSC. So in that context, we have already discussed with the RCSC. We have asked the RCSC in how that can be done. But we are aware that to do that, we have to change the rules and regulations. And therefore, we expect the RCSC to cooperate with the government and make necessary changes in the RCSC rules and regulations in consonance with our pledges. Therefore, it is already in the pipeline. I mean, we are already having dialogue with the RCSC. So we hope that it will come through very soon, which means that the RCSC will change its rules and regulations.
Yes, yes.
Now, why we have made these pledges, is anybody's guess, because working mothers are not able to spend quality time with their children. The children are not able to get optimal breastfeeding. So these are something which, not only by international conventions but by our own laws, require the government to ensure that the children, especially young children, get optimum breastfeeding time, so that you can avoid malnutrition, you can avoid stunting, and also a host of other problems which arise out of lack of proper breastfeeding.
Yes, yes. Honorable Kingasari, now talking about this particular pledge. Now, Lembu mentioned about fulfilling proper procedures and plans that are in place already, and it's always easier said than done. So, taking stock of whatever is there in place, what do you think? It's never easy to get things done.
I agree.
You need to give enough time.
Yes, I agree the procedural requirements. I agree the rules and regulations in place. I suppose the question then is why 100 days? It could have been 200 days pledge, or it could have been, for that matter, 300 days pledge. And so again, I think we are not, trying to argue on the merits of the pledge and whatever it is. But since the The specific context we are discussing is the 100 days, and that was the reason why we pointed out Sishunuvi. Again, not to say that this is something achievable within 100 days, therefore it should be done 100 days in Sishunuvi. The main thing is, if this is going to take 200 days, why commit to 100 days? It can be committed in 200 days and 300 days for that matter. So therefore, I think that is stand. On the specific, I think proposal, personally, we have full support. Even in the parliament, we supported the cause for women, and I think this is going to be something which is very helpful to the mothers. At the same time, we need to be mindful of the fact whether this is going to lead to unintentional discrimination against women employees, because the moment we create a condition where they're away from work for extended period of time to 9 to 1 year, then obviously I think it's going to first of all impact them during the recruitment process as well as during the promotion time. So therefore I think this is something where we have to make sure that our good intentions don't actually backfire. The other thing is, as I said, the opposition is also fully behind the government. In the parliament, we supported the women gender funding, and I think government has allocated 190 million specifically for women causes.
Yes.
But the issue here is, I think if something cannot be done in 100 days, then why commit it?
Okay. I think, Your Excellency, now the main issue here is, why did you have that specific 100 days period? In the hindsight, don't you think you shouldn't have kept that 100 days period?
Well, this is a question that keeps coming back again and again. This is not something new. It has been done in so many other countries. Of course, in Bhutan, this is the first time that we have, given a specific time frame. Now, the reason why we have put that is anybody can promise anything, but if you don't give a specific time frame, nobody is going to fulfill it now. So, the fact that we have given a specific time and that, say, 100 days, just shows our political will that we have. Otherwise, you could always say, I'll fulfill it after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. I could keep on going until the government is dissolved. And then ultimately, at the end of the term, you come out with, again, new promises that will never be fulfilled. Because of the fact that we have pledged to fulfill 34 pledges within the 100 days, made us really, really work hard. And because of that, the people are going to benefit. The civil servants are going to benefit. The youth who are unemployed are going to benefit, because we have been cornered into fulfilling these pledges in these 100 days. Had we not made these pledges, then we would be sitting, we would be enjoying a honeymoon. The fact that, that's why I asked you right in the beginning, therefore I keep asking myself, what did DPT, do in this first 100 days? Maybe they were, talking about emoluments, they were talking about entitlements, they were talking about Prado, but they never had this, the problems that we are facing now.
Okay. It's good to have a stipulated time, and for the current government, it's 100 days. Deputy government earlier never had time frame, and that's why they were talking about entitlements and Prados, as Limbu just mentioned. Subsequent elections, parties may come, or different parties may come. It's good to have a stipulated time frame so that the government of the day can be kept on their toes. Would you agree?
Well, I think, again there, of course, one thing is to make pledges, and the other one is to make realistic pledges. And one cannot be, as a responsible government or a party, we cannot be too tall on our promises but too short on the delivery session. And I think that, yes, we have to have stipulated time, but it has to be realistic. It has to be time which can be doable. And I don't think we, the entire institution and parties who are involved in political process, rather than convincing people, I think there is a danger that we may be losing credibility.
Okay, sir.
I think, and I don't know the first 90 days of the previous government. Again, I have not been personally there to report on what has happened, but I do not fathom that they would have spent whole 90 days talking about Prados and what is their own personal entitlement.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Time is up. I'm so sorry. Honorable Home Minister Limbu Damachadoji, Ms. Kungat Sering, Honorable Member of Parliament, thank you so much for your time. This brings us to the end of our news hour. Thank you so much for watching. Good night and Tish Tilila.